There you go, sir. All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order again. We called it to order at 8:40, then we had an executive session where we dealt with secret things that we're not going to tell you about. Appreciate folks being with us here this morning. We have a special recognition here, and I'm going to ask Rick Zabrak to tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, so today I'd like to recognize Dennis Mignard. Dennis worked for Ohio Electric Co-op for a long time as basically the conduit between economic development and the electric co-op companies. We're here at South Central Town. And Dennis has made a huge impact statewide. He's a Lancaster native and calls Bucket Lake home right now. And he's been a member of the Fairfield 33 Alliance board for, I think, and was always generous, would sponsor our career readiness program from day one. We ever needed some, a lunch purchased for the students or anything like that, he would go to Ohio Electric Co-ops and get those funds covered for us. The first trip I went to on economic development, I was lucky to run into Dennis there. I didn't know anybody. Dennis knew every single person there, I think even the staff, and took the time to make sure he could introduce me to as many people as possible. He's an icon in economic development for the state. They actually created an award, the Ohio Economic Development Association, a Lifetime Achievement Award, and Dennis was the first Penny McDonald. And it was created because of Dennis. He's always been passionate, cared a lot about Lancaster, has done so much for the Alliance. When we started the career readiness program, he went home and talked about it all the time. And his wife, Beth, is now one of our career navigators because she wanted to leave her corporate job to make more of an impact in the community. And heard Dennis talk about all the great things that we're doing. So I just thought it would be, so Dennis is retired that job. He's started his own consulting firm now. And wanted to make sure we recognized really an unsung hero who doesn't like the limelight. So it's nice to put him, embarrass him. But someone that doesn't normally get recognized for the things that they do. I just wanted to make sure he's done a lot for this county and a lot for the state and take the time.
Thank you, Rick. Morning, sir. Morning. Appreciate you being with us today. I wanted to give you a few minutes to say hello to us, and probably what we're all most curious about is what's next.
Well, thank you so much. This was an incredibly unexpected
Step up to the podium if you would, so everybody can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, we got people online.
That's all right. Well, thank you so much. This was an incredible honor, one that I didn't expect. I think two of the highest honors that a person can receive is either an honor from your friends and neighbors or from your peers. And in today's world, in today's meeting, the vast majority of you are people I've worked with for years, so I consider you friends and peers. And so I want to receive an honor from people that you really know and who truly know you is, I think, the highest honor that a person can receive. I think economic development is a noble calling. It's an industry that is, was at one time fully art and a little bit of science, has become more science. But it's art. The art is still important, and I think it's important. It's the art of the relationship. And while we all have our drums that we march to, whether it's tax revenue, jobs created, kilowatt hours sold, whatever it may be, where you fit in the industry. I think the thing that's so most important about it, I think the thing that's so most fulfilling, and the people in this room I know who are involved in economic development certainly believe this, and I think I fully believe it is that when we go home at night, if we've done our job well, someone is leading a better life than they did when the day started. Someone has a roof over their head. Someone has a blanket on their bed. Someone has a car to get to work in or a car to get picked up from school in. Someone has a lunch that maybe they didn't have. If an economic developer and the team that works with he or she and creates had not put together a project or helped a company expand or stay or grow or locate. And because of that, I think that's why I've done it for, I realize now, 40 plus years, starting in the state of Ohio and in South Central Power County, and then 20 plus years in Ohio Electric Plumbers, is the feeling that at some time, something I've done has made someone's life better. And I think as long as we do that, all the other pieces will fall together. And I think that's the ultimate expectation of any economic developer. Can you look yourself in the mirror at night and say, did I make someone's life better, or did I try? And hopefully what I did over the last 40 years has done that. Again, I'm incredibly honored to have done this. The unsung hero of this whole escapade of my life is my wife, Beth. Economic developers do things that people think are oftentimes fun, but really it's late nights, early mornings, going to events that sound fun and not all that much fun when you're there. And she kept everything in our family running together. So she's clearly, any awards that I ever receive are as much part for her as they are for me. So for the honor today, from coming from peers and friends, I'm incredibly honored to this. I feel blessed to be here today, and thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. I look forward to working with you in the future. Apparently people think that I have some knowledge and value, and so I'm happy to be having my own consulting firm and working with a number of people that I consider friends and clients over the years. So thank you all so much for having me today. I really appreciate this.
Would you be willing to hang tight for a brief presentation?
But indeed, I'm retired. So. Retired, and I think Mrs. Levis, you might have cookies here, so I thought, well, I better come.
Thank you, Paul. Everybody.
Thank you so much.
So on behalf of the commission, we've done a proclamation of recognition for Dennis. So folks know I don't really how about the number half of the so far.
Thank you so much. I'm incredibly honored by this event. So surprised and honored and appreciate more than they ever realized. So thank you.
But you can switch places and get the
Okay. Better than like me.
I'm going to do my best, but
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
next item on our agenda is we're going to get an update from Garrett Blevins regarding spring and severe weather and purpose, and maybe he's got to throw something fun in.
No, you get John today too.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I said just Garrett.
Yeah,
So hopefully it's just you. So,
we had 10 minutes of the meeting, right?
Whatever that is, the support players in this place.
Yes, thank you for having us. Last month we celebrated Severe Weather Awareness Week across the state. We're well into our season of severe weather here in the county. We've already had a few impactful storms move through. So I wanted to take the opportunity today to talk a little bit about the different recovery options and programs that are out there at the state, federal, and local level. We're going to talk about point it that way. Ash, like it's great. There we go. Perfect. So we'll talk a little bit about what residents and what you all do immediately after an impactful storm, and then we'll move and focus mainly on those different recovery programs that are available. So just as a quick reminder to set the stage, severe weather comes in many different forms. Specifically, what we see most impactful here in Fairfield County, especially right now, is these summer severe thunderstorms. They bring damaging winds. We can see tornadoes, large hail. We also see, as we saw last summer, flooding, flash flooding, those types of events. And it also includes winter storms. But we'll touch more on those once it gets again, or past winter, hopefully. When we see a storm move through, first off, always personal safety, make sure that your area is safe. And then we move right into that recovery, that response phase, kind of simultaneously. And you'll see if you follow us on our social media, John and I are probably up in the middle of the night monitoring things at home. And our first line as EMA is we're checking and seeing what our first responders are responding to. Is there trees down on the road? Is there power lines down? So we're communicating with all the dispatch centers. And that's really when we're trying to get a pulse of what are the impact countywide. When we see that the storm probably had some sort of an impact, then we move to our social media where we're trying to get citizens to report to us what they're seeing on the ground. So we have a few different ways to do that. The old school way, you can always call in, leave us a voicemail, we'll get it. But our preferred method is that image that's kind of scrolling there on the right. That's on our website. It's our public storm damage reporting tool. It's very helpful for us, as you'll see here in this next slide. When residents report to us, it automatically gets mapped into a GIS system that we can instantly share with the National Weather Service. Another cool thing that we do and that the National Weather Service especially likes is we can overlay radar images and warning polygons. And then we can actually do some cool layering and we can see and you start to visualize the path and the damage impacts. So the image on the left would have been last July's flooding. So that's the 48-hour rainfall forecast. And you can truly see, if we go back, we got a lot of public storm reports from that event. So very helpful. It helped guide our recovery as we sought for the SBA to come in. We'll talk about their recovery programs here in a minute. And then that storm there on the right, where you see that red polygon, that was the tornado warning that we had last month in the county. That's where we never had a tornado touchdown, but we had a downburst, so a large formation of wind rapidly falling from about 20,000 feet down, which we saw a lot of tree impacts. So it's really cool, and the Weather Service loves it when we can map it. So if you can kind of see all of the damages prior to that warning polygon. So the Weather Service takes that feedback and they learn from it. And hopefully maybe next time we'll get a warning a little sooner. As you can see, there's not much damage in that orange area. But again, the Weather Service, they may not have seen any rotation on the radar, but the reason they issued that warning polygon there was because they were getting feedback from dispatch centers and social media of the damage on the ground in that moment.
Garrett, you
Yes, sir.
mentioned the downdraft situation and obviously tornadoes.
Good.
Are you familiar with what someone calls straight line winds?
Yes.
What are those?
So straight line winds are a result of a downdraft. Basically, that wind's coming down really fast and then it's moving outwards. And then that outward lateral movement of the wind is what we refer to as that straight line.
You'd also have that in the derecho scenario that we had in the past, where a storm front coming through at such speed builds up a straight line burst in the initial front as it passes through the area.
Please continue.
And those often get 65 plus to we've seen as high as a 95-mile-an-hour gust in some of those.
You feel like you're in a tornado.
Yeah, I mean, there's no difference. Yeah, wind is wind. It's just a damage scale at that point.
The last, that storm, this one year from last month, the airport had 62-mile-per-hour winds recorded at its weather station. And the hail that was falling was up to 20,000 feet dropping. So we saw a lot of siding damage, a lot of damage. So we get all those reports in. We see that pattern on the map. Again, that's why it's really helpful for us, for residents to use that online reporting tool, so we can get the mapping. It starts local. So John and I and our team, we're receiving those public reports. If we see an area that's really localized or something that piques our interest, we may actually go out and do what's called a windshield survey. So we'll drive around, we look at the damage ourselves. We have reporting thresholds, a 12 and 36-hour reporting threshold that the state EMA at their 24-hour watch office, they like to hear from us. If we don't reach out to them, they're usually texting, calling us, asking what those impacts look like. If we determine that we believe that it is a impactful event, where A, it's either exceeding our local capacity, so we can't clear roadways fast enough, the first responders are just receiving too many calls, or there's just some sort of unmet needs, that's when we can request assistance from them. And that can come a few different ways. It can come formally through a disaster declaration. So like we saw with the July flooding, some of our local municipalities declared a disaster, the county declared a disaster, in a few townships. We can also do a county-wide disaster declaration. So those, Amy will tell you that those will open up and make things a little bit easier when we formalize it. It's also something that the states and the federal government especially likes to see when we're moving forward and asking for more relief programs. From there, the state comes in and they will come out and they will take our data that we provide to them. If they think it's impactful enough that, wow, yeah, we probably have something they want to look at, they're going to come in, they'll do a preliminary. If it's bad enough, then we'll move into what's called a joint preliminary damage assessment. So that's when we're reaching out to FEMA and the SBA, and they come into town with their cavalry, and we go around house to house, door to door, and we're documenting. We're looking for lines of how high up water got into people's homes, looking for the extensive damage. There's a lot of different thresholds, whether it's a minor affected or destroyed house. If all of that goes through and FEMA says, yeah, wow, you've got a lot of problems, then the governor of the state of Ohio requests to the president a presidential disaster declaration. And then that's when FEMA truly comes in and they set up shop, usually for about 6 months in your state. They open up a bunch of temporary offices and bring in all of their relief programs. So what do their relief programs look like? There's a lot out there. There's some that we'll talk about today that are the most common ones that you see with all types of disasters. And then there's disaster-specific ones. So especially for flooding, there's a lot of special programs that get opened up, and John will talk a little bit about those, especially some of the ones that we're utilizing now following our July event. But on the individual side, there's private insurance, the FEMA Individual Assistance Program, SBA Property Loan Program. So those are our federal programs. And then we move into our state programs. We have our state individual assistance program, and then our non-governmental organizations, which locally, those are the ones that make the most impact. On the public assistance side, so that's to our governments and critical nonprofits. Again, they all have their private insurance, hopefully. And then there's the public assistance program, as well as the counterpart at the state level. Okay.
Do we have any idea what percentage of, excuse me, the properties in Fairfield County are uninsured?
There's often an estimate, but I would say it's pretty inaccurate. So the Ohio Insurance Agency, they have a kind of a running tally that they spread across from not just our county, but all counties. But I think they look at more economic data to try to figure out what that is. We do know on flood insurance policies that are NFIP policies. And you would think that that'd be a lot, but there's a lot of homes that are in a flood zone that are not insured by an NFIP policy. And that's just a federally backed program that ensures that they'll get paid out for that flood damage.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna try to focus on the takeaway for today for what we want to kind of portray, since we had a lot of lessons learned in this event and recovery from it. I'm often asked, where was FEMA? When's the money coming in? And we were in the area of damage where we sustained enough damage in Fairfield County, but the event wasn't large enough for the state of Ohio. And at the last chart, we'll kind of see the dollars and cents there, but what that does is leaves this little bit of a gap in assistance for people and for the public. So in our programs, the weird nomenclature, public assistance is for government, education, townships, that level. It's the public entity. Individual assistance is for, our homeowners and our businesses. So on our individual assistance categories, FEMA is the big one we always talk about, but the average FEMA claim for an individual assistance is $38,000. That's not really covered in a hurricane or in a situation that we're going to have here. So we try to tell people that is not the answer. You're going to have a well-rounded plan on how you recover from a disaster. SBA disaster loans, that was something that we went through on this event. And there's a lot of exclusions that make it just short of being an availability for most homeowners to take a huge, it's a loan. It's a great term, but it's still a loan. And then we go into Ohio individual assistance. And that's probably the program where we see the most shortcomings. And I'm not being critical to the state of Ohio, it just hasn't been activated since the year 2000. Like, it's been that long since Ohio has activated an individual assistance. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because traditionally, in those years since then, FEMA has stepped in and had an individual assistance program, so Ohio didn't need to. And now that FEMA's numbers have grown up so much to reach, they're not showing up in a lot of the disasters they used to. There's an economy problem there, there's many things.
Yeah, one of the other big shortfalls with that specifically is the state has to request to FEMA for a presidential disaster declaration. That disaster declaration has to be denied before the state individual assistance program is activated. So for us, it was one county, one localized event. We didn't have the per capita for the state. So right off the bat, it was not even an option. And there's just, like John said, it hasn't been touched since the early 2000s.
So what's often left for individuals is the charities, the nonprofits, the local support. We are fortunate that we have some really great local support entities. Obviously, our interaction with 211, United Way, those pieces that are the traditional public assistance that's all year round. They do a lot of focus on disaster recovery. Charity Agencies is another one. And they focus primarily at fire scenes and do a heck of a job helping people who have residential home fires. And then they do even a lot more in disasters. And then, of course, we have Red Cross, the national organization. They can support, they do a lot of focusing on sheltering. There's still just a lot of unmet needs at the local level when the disaster doesn't meet a federally declared disaster. So what we kind of, and then I'll go in a little bit of public assistance, just for us, the public assistance piece. That's easier to obtain at the FEMA level and at the Ohio level. We're in a public assistance declaration right now for the SDRP, the State Disaster Relief Fund. That's where a lot of this help that we're able to coordinate with the state of Ohio is happening now. So that's your Fairfield Medical Center, some of the private nonprofits that were impacted and provide essential services. Obviously us. Well, the county claim was pretty low, townships, things like that. So that's what we're working through now. And that's probably the easiest support out there. And I don't think that there's an unmet need there. We just have to do a great job documenting. But I think what we're seeing in the individual assistance is this trend where the indicators for a federally declared disaster or a state disaster continue to increase. So you can see that pattern of the per capita would need. So currently in Ohio, it's $23 million statewide damaged. And of that, it only counts when a disaster has hit $1.34 per capita. So in our case, $7 million. So in the March storm, we experienced damage of more than $7 million on our windshield estimate. Franklin County had about $7 to $10 million, but their per capita is something like 55 million. So they can't be counted in the statewide total. It's just a weird formula to really see that there's an unmet need. So since that event, and since our Garrett spent a lot of time helping out in Logan County with the Indian Lake tornadoes, we've kind of met with some local people to establish what is the possibility to creating something to fill these gaps for individuals who experience a disaster in our community. So obviously 211 Charity Newsies, they're pulling their weight and doing their things, but we found that what worked well in Logan County is they have an individual disaster fund that's managed at akin to our Fairfield County Foundation. What's theirs called?
Theirs is ran through their United Way board.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. So they have this charitable organization that can accept donations and then help individuals who experience these disasters recover when they come around. So we've kind of started that conversation with the Fairfield County Foundation. Starting a fund is something that's complicated, and we're learning as we go along. Garrett's been having conversations with them, and our next steps are trying to identify seed monies. And that's the key part with the foundation account is these seed money. So we're trying to explore some options with grants or other things to create that. And then we can advertise that is the place we would say locals should donate to help their neighbors. So we're really just getting it off the ground, but it's something that we feel locally will help the individuals recover a little bit better.
Let me ask you if I could on these, call it, local disaster relief. You're talking about housing it externally, so to speak. Have you seen medium-sized local communities that have housed such a program internally?
I have not. I reached out to the city of Dayton. They ran it through their foundation. Portage County runs it through. It's generally people want that 501c tax deduction when they donate to the fund. In all of those jurisdictions, it's locally funded by individuals in the community. So Logan County, following their tornado, and they spun theirs up so quickly, they got a phone call and they said, "I have $2 million. Where do I put it?" So that was the easiest way. And they need
Corporate donation.
yeah, and
The external housing of such a program, are you aware of instances where local governments have provided seed money?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. The concept of the rainy day fund. I know through COVID, there was a number of those, and I think they even used ARP dollars, something like Franklin County, went to individual assistance, rents, things to bridge gaps during the COVID emergency. But absolutely, seed money, I think, for the foundation's rules or for just general purpose, can come from individuals, governments, other nonprofits, grants. I mean, we're really, I think, open to anything.
I'm interested in that conversation. Won't be around.
Okay. Yeah, and this wasn't a pitch today for that, so I didn't want to.
No, I know, but I think, we've seen examples where we're struggling to patch these gaps multiple different ways. We could be better next time.
And there are, as Garrett mentioned, there are several programs throughout the state of Ohio we can mirror, model, borrow from. But, again, it goes back to that neighbors helping neighbors. I really feel like that is the most streamlined, effective way to do that. There's a QR code, of course, there. It's a sign up for Alert Fairfield.
Alert Fairfield.
I was just getting that.
If you don't have your mass notifications,
And Dan checked the QR, so
it's safe.
it's safe.
I'm a trusted order.
We're in the tail end of some of these programs. We're happy that folks are getting relief, but there were some unmet needs in that last disaster. Absolutely. Thank you.
I'll see if my colleagues, first Commissioner picks questions for these gentlemen.
Yeah, just appreciation for your work digging in after event, right? Is how you learn and grow. And so you guys have clearly done that and it's appreciated.
Commissioner Levis.
So I think I've asked this question before. So when you set off for National Weather Service, sets off the alarm, say tornado,
Yeah.
or rotation of these, and you get an alert in the Sugar Grove area, you're not setting off for the whole county. Is that
Right.
correct?
So when the Weather Service issues a tornado warning, almost all the time, they issue a polygon. That red polygon is what that last storm was. We will issue an alert, a cell phone-based alert from Alert Fairfield in that polygon. And it's pretty accurate.
So back in the day, they used to just do the
whole
whole county.
Tornado sirens, there's only 5 zones. So you may get, and if any one siren touches a polygon, that entire section. So we may end up alerting half the county because the polygon's just in the right place. But we'd rather be safe than not.
So it's pretty interesting. Back years back, late 70s, early 80s, I don't recall exactly when. It was actually a tornado that hit. I saw the funnel-clad actually at my house. I was on the fire department at that time. And it hit Fairfield Beach. But the alarm didn't sound for probably 15, 20 minutes after it had already hit. So the real-time accuracy today is like light years ahead from where it used to be.
I think we're getting like 15-minute average warning. And Ohio is in a unique situation that while we are getting more and more tornadoes, the valley is shifting. We have the ability to kind of see that coming because it develops over those flatter areas of Pickaway and Frost. We see that southwesternly area. It's just building and building and building as the storm.
I just appreciate the fact that we get warnings as quickly as we do because
And we're warning how many folks right now? How many contacts are there?
Folks who have enrolled in weather warnings, just over 10,000, but total, if we did like a community alert where we would push it out, I think we're up to 20 now. So still looking for more. There's a lot more people out there. So.
could be higher.
Yeah, put that QR code back up, will you? Gotta make sure I got it.
Yeah, and we've expanded weather warnings. It's not only for tornado now, you can get them for severe thunderstorm and flood warnings as well. So.
You guys do a good job every day. You did a good job today. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Super 20 today.
Him and Dan switched spots. I told her.
Thank you, guys. At this time, the commission sets aside an opportunity for voters and taxpayers to address the commission. If you'd like to do so, please approach the podium and begin by stating your name and residential address. We do have a 3-minute hard rule today.
Good morning.
Morning, Ray.
I have had a blessed weekend and 2 years ago at this time, Judy was spending her last time here on earth. So it's a tough week in a way, but I was blessed this weekend by having the opportunity to visit my home out there that I lived in for 50 some years and meet the couple that bought the place. And God answered Judy and my prayers about the couple that would buy the place, and it's a perfect couple that we had prayed for. That's a blessing. The other blessing we have received is yesterday, Sunday afternoon. My grandson and his wife presented me with the first edition of Judy's Prayers. And it's a wonderful edition, and it's only 50 some prayers of her, or poems, I should say, about over 2,000. And so there will be other editions coming. And it's 65 years that we spent together as before marriage and after marriage was a beautiful time together. And I want to do it again. So with that thought, I would go to prayer. Thank you, Lord. We know you still answer prayers. And Lord, we give you the glory and the praise for all that you do for us and how you go above and beyond our thoughts. You give us blessings. We look to you that no one else can give us. We thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Ray. Under those terms and conditions, is there anyone else who would like to address the commission at this time? We thank you all for coming. Next, we'll see if there's an update legal. Hector, County Administration.
All right, there's no meeting of the Board of Commissioners next Tuesday, April the 21st. Therefore, the next commission meeting will be Tuesday, April the 28th at 9 a.m. The review packet does contain a list of administrative approvals, and there are 10 resolutions on the agenda for the regular voting meeting. Few resolutions of note, 2 proclamations. One you already provided to Mr. Dennis Minyar, and the second will recognize April 22nd as Earth Day. Commissioner Davis, you will be presenting that at the Earth Day celebration, otherwise known as Seeds of Change, which will be held at the downtown Lancaster gazebo on April the 25th. Also have 2 resolutions to reappoint members of the new Community Authority in Violet Township. Doug Williams and Doug Hauk are being reappointed until April 8th of 27, and Felicia Hentz until April 8th of 2028. Revised code states that NCA members are replaced based on population by successor members elected by the Board of Trustees. Excuse me, the Commissioner's Office has been informed that the population of the NCA is currently 0 and was asked to reappoint the citizen board members. The Director of Operations for Violet Township would like Mr. Williams, Mr. Hauk, and Ms. Hentz reappointed. Lori Sanders was appointed by the Commissioners in April of 24 as the local government's representative, and that appointment remains in effect until the NCA has 3/4 of its projected population. Rick, do you want to add anything there?
Yeah, this is the Rockford Hall project up in Violet Township, the first NCA in the county. I believe it's, August, maybe. But, nothing really takes effect until.
And then Economic and Workforce Development has a resolution to approve an MOU for the commitment of funds to Eastland Fairfield Career and Technical Schools from the Super Rapids funds awarded to Fairfield County through an MOU by the Ohio Department of Higher Education. This MOU reimburses Eastland Fairfield up to $490,000 for their purchases for a CDL program.
Yeah, so we've gone a long way. So our hope is to have a CDL project at the Workforce Center, and then you're looking at land by the airport. And Hocking College wasn't sure if they wanted to let us supposed to go to Hocking College for the CDL. They weren't sure if they wanted to make that commitment. Fairfield Career Center did. They have the land, they have lights, they have everything. And we needed to get Hocking to agree, which they did, to move the money through us over to Fairfield Career Center. So we'll be creating a CDL program there, right across the street from us. It's an opportunity for us to be good partners. get some money to them. Also, 300,000 capital funds have been moved over to them also through the state. We don't have to do anything about it. But so for money that we were able to secure, we're getting $790,000 over to Eastland Fairfield to be able to start a CDL program. So, nice win for everyone.
That relationship has come a long way. Thank you, Rick. All right, park budget review.
No update this week.
All right, thank you, Rochelle. Calendar review and invitations received, please.
Thank you. The Transportation Improvement District meets this afternoon at 1 p.m. at the Record Center. The Millersport Business Group meets tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. at the American Legion in Millersport. Hercom House is hosting a donor appreciation reception tomorrow at 4 p.m. at 216 Trace Drive here in Lancaster. Family and Children First Council has an executive committee meeting on April 17th at 8:30 a.m. at the Fairfield County Agricultural Center. And an invitation was received for a reception celebrating Dr. Joyce Harold and the Harold family. The reception will be held April 23rd at 5 p.m. in Gracie Hall of the Ohio University Lancaster campus. Under correspondence, the prosecutor's office sent a memo on April 3rd for calendar year 2027 appropriations and compensation. And the Southeastern Ohio Center for Independent Living published an e-newsletter with an article about the land bank. This article is in your review packet. That's all I have.
Thank you, Rochelle. That's all, Commissioner.
All right, we're going to move on to updates from elected officials and department heads. We're on a very tight schedule today, so if elected officials take too long, we will skip department heads. Lisa.
Just real quick, we're currently working with our vendor and IT today to wrap up our changes to our public facing computer for our ADA compliance, which needs to be effective by the 24th. I will be on vacation, so I want all of that security done before we run. So we're working on that today.
It's a light crowd for elected officials today. We appreciate you being here. Dr. Brown.
At the National Tyler Conference, we learned about some improvements for the enterprise resource planning that will have luminous types of reporting possibilities in 2027. So we're going to begin some work groups to begin exploring that. And I'm very excited about it because it affords a great deal of flexibility, particularly for those who are managing and reporting on grants. At that conference, the Fairfield County case was used as a positive case for the use of technology, so that was encouraging. I will also just quickly report that on Saturday, the Daughters of American Revolution met in my office because that building at 108 North High was the place where the first Daughter of American Revolution meeting was held here in Fairfield County, and they read the minutes from early 1800s, and it was really kind of an impressive group. And they were just very full of joy, and it was nice to spend time with them. I have more, but I don't want to cut off the department heads.
Appreciate your courtesy on that. Tony, anything?
I think that
Good, Rick?
Just excited, Jennifer Sturgeon from our team won the Community District Customer Service of the Year Award for the Lancaster Fairfield Chamber. So excited to celebrate that in May. And 3 of our department was fabricating, 1 for large business, and 2 of our RLF clients, Keller Market House and Double Edge Brewing, 1 for other. So we can touch on the other single.
Mr. Levacy.
So Jennifer receiving that award, very appropriate. She is about one of the nicest, engaged people I know.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for the truck driver program. We need truck drivers. So I know it's still a ways off, but I know I've been asking for it for 2 or 3 years. So I'm grateful that you finally got it done.
John. Dan.
Thanks to the commissioners, the benefit of the contract with Hicks Partners has been helpful, and appreciate it.
Trouble, Corey.
Thank you to everybody who attended last week's child abuse prevention breakfast. We received a lot of positive feedback on that event, and Captain Sean Boyle received the Partner for Kids Award.
It's very nice. Thank you, Corey. Jeff Porter, any better news on health insurance?
Doing fine.
Doing all right. Anything additional, sir?
No, thank you.
All right. Just throw up a hand if you're in the audience and you have something important to share this morning. Any of them important? All right, we appreciate everybody being with us today. Under old business, Commissioner Fix,
None today, thank you.
Commissioner Levesey.
So last week's protective service breakfast was great. Glad to be there.
It was very nice, and I don't know the numbers specifically, but it seemed like a larger audience.
Definitely was, yeah, the venue was perfect.
It always is, thank you. Nothing for me under old, Commissioner Levesey under new.
So I think next week, we're going to have a closing of the Lancaster school building, and then soon it'll be demolished after that. Really know when you're old, when you know when the school was built and when it's being demolished.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Fix under new.
Nothing, thank you.
Nothing new for myself either. Is there any other issue item that anybody would like to bring to the attention of the commission at this time? Please rise if you are able. Bring us the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Michelle, do we have any announcements? Move on to the approval of leadership conference minutes for April 7, 2026.
Move, second.
Discussion, please call to roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Minutes past 3-0.
Approval minutes for April 7, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Please call to roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Minutes past 3-0. From the Commissioners, Resolution 2026-4.14.a, a resolution authorizing the approval of proclamations.
Under Commissioners, I move items A, B, C, and D.
Second.
Discussion. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. Further discussion? Please call to roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. The Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Resolution 2026-4.14.e, a resolution to approve a memo expense memo receipt for the cost of transportation for individuals paid to Fairfield County Transit as a memo expenditure for Fund 2060.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Please call to roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Economic and Workforce Development, Resolution 2026-4.14.f. Resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding for the commitment of funds to Eastland Fairfield Career and Technical Schools from the Super Rapids funds previously awarded to Fairfield County through an MOU between Fairfield County and the Ohio Department of Higher Education.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Please call to roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey? Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Engineer, Resolution 2026-4.14.g. Resolution to appropriate from unappropriated in major expenditure object category County Engineer 2024 motor vehicle funds for Summit Infrastructure Group Inspection Services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Please call to roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey? Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Job and Family Services, Resolution 2026-4.14.h. A resolution to approve a memo expense memo receipt for the cost of birth certificates paid to Fairfield County Health Departments as a memo expenditure for Fund 2072 Public Children's Services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Please call to roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From South Central Major Crimes Unit, Resolution 2026-4.14.i. Resolution authorizing an account-to-account transfer for major crimes unit fund 7844, subfund 8361, AG Dark Grant, July 25th through June 26th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Payment of bills, Resolution 2026-4.14.j. Resolution authorizing the approval of payment of invoices for departments that need Board of Commissioners approval.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. The next regular meeting is scheduled for April 28th at 9 a.m.
Another issue we need to touch on today is last week, the commission had an opportunity to interview 4 candidates for one opening on the Port Authority. Wonderful set of candidates. I thought one was probably came out ahead in my view. I appreciate all the candidates. Probably leaning a little bit towards Matt Claypool on my end, with tremendous respect for the other candidates. Commissioner Fix on that issue.
I agree with you.
Commissioner Levesey on that issue. In anticipation of this conversation, I had a wonderful telephone call this morning with J.C. Kane. She was one of our employees that was competing for that opportunity. And I just wanted her to know how much the commission appreciated her interest on that. Encouraged her to think about other opportunities she might be passionate about. I just felt like one of our people compete for an opportunity and they don't get it, but yet we see something in a person that we want to encourage. I tried to be a part of that this morning. But hearing our discussion, I expect that staff should prepare a resolution for next week on that issue.
2 weeks, but yeah.
Yeah, and then let the others know with all appropriate courtesy.
Agreed.
Is there any other issue item, anybody? Oh, you know what? We're 6 minutes early and Dr. Brown was so kind. Is there anything additional you'd like to share? We have a couple minutes.
I have an interesting factoid. Last year, the conveyance amounts that have been transferred by property exceeded 1 billion, and that's an interesting threshold for Fairfield County to have reached, and that's important to the general fund, of course. I just wanted to mention that.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your courtesy today. Any other issue item anybody like to bring the attention of the commission at this time?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn in a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The commission is adjourned, and the 10 o'clock meeting with IAC is in this room. So if you're not in that meeting and you want to carry your conversation into the hall, that would be super. Except for you, Garrett, I need you for a minute.